Yeah, scratchy scratch. So I remember my mom, I don't know if you remember this. You might be too young. There were like articles where you could buy like six CDs for $1 each or something like that. Like they had these plans, and then they'd like send you the no. Oh my god, you make
No
me feel
way.
old, man. Hold
You
on. Hold
are.
on. DMX first album. DMX first album. When did it come out? When did it come
6
out?
CDs for $1.
Something like that. 1998. So I was 11. I was 11. I was
See,
11.
so for me, the issue is, wow, that's crazy. I got that right.
You
I'm
did get that
good.
right. You're good,
You know,
Chris. Good job.
the issue is I grew up in the era of LimeWire, so I used to burn my CDs.
I did too once it came out. So remember, so when did LimeWire? It had to be like 99, right? How old were you in 99?
Brother, no.
Oh, no, you're talking about Napster. Napster was first. So Napster was like 98, 99.
You're wild. In 99, I was 6 years old, my boy.
You didn't
There's
know nothing
no
about
way.
burning CDs.
I had no internet, gang. Like, my boy said 99. What?
No, that's Napster. Okay. So what was the first album you burned? Do you remember that at least? Because you didn't buy no records.
It had to be a couple of the Lil Wayne mixtape joints.
Oh, so you literally grew up on Lil Wayne.
I grew up in the mixtape era. Him, Fabulous, like Dipset, Juelz Santana, like that was those mixtape. That mixtape era, Wiz Khalifa.
When he was Wiz Khalifa, bro.
Yo, when he first came out, bro. His mixtape.
What's crazy is you started really getting into hip hop when it was in the South. Think about that. It wasn't New York. In the early 2000s, the South was taking over hip hop.
I'll say this though. I think the first CD I bought was a 50 Cent CD. Get Rich or Die Trying.
Okay, so that's a good album. But you're talking like 2002, Chris. You were 8 years old. You didn't even know what they were talking about in that record.
My mom got it for me. Many man, yo, my dad beat the brakes off me because I was in my house singing word for word, ball for ball. Many men
didn't know what they were talking about.
Many men wish death upon me. Blood in my eyes, dog, and I keep, yo, at like I was 8, 9 years old, wilding. I was wilding.
Did you have G Unit sneakers?
He was like, "Who trying to take your life?" And then that's when he forced me to go to like the clean version, and I got the John Cena CD.
Ah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Thugonomics, Thug Life. You know what I'm saying?
Did you have G Unit sneakers?
No.
Okay.
G Unit video games though.
You see, I never played that.
The fake GTAs that they would come out with.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to go back. So when I bought DMX was one of my favorite artists of all time growing up. So, that was like my first album that I ever bought. But I think for me, the first album that I bought and really like listened to every bar was Nas Stillmatic. So you remember there was the beef between Nas and Jay-Z.
Yes.
And on that album it had Ether. So I didn't buy it for Ether. I bought it because I loved One Mic so much. I think it's probably his best song he's ever made. And just
I need is One Mic.
Listening to every song in that album from the beginning to end, bro. I was addicted to hip hop at that point. Like now I'm listening to people for the bars. I want to hear great music. And then of course I bought Godson. I bought The Blueprint 2. Like now I'm deep into hip hop. I didn't really like Dipset. I thought Juelz was cool, but I thought their raps were silly.
I thought Juelz was the second coming, bro.
Everyone did. He
had such a good
that double album was crazy. But think about it. It was like one summer you couldn't hear a song without him on it.
Bro, he was cooking. He was cooking. Him and Lil Wayne together.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
That makes it. Oh my god! I was like, yo, it's late.
Do you think like that's the hardest fall off of all time in hip hop? Someone that like was almost there, like to become one of the greats, and just Cameron talks about it a lot too. That there was a lot of like praise from the industry. It was like, this is the next guy, and he just didn't take it serious enough of what Cameron said. And I think even Jim Jones said the same thing. Like he wanted to be in the streets, in the club, spending money, drinking. He was young. Think about it. Juelz was young. I think he was like 19.
To have that much fame, especially in New York.
Yeah, in New York is big.
Where like you were on top of the New York game.
Yeah.
Knowing that that's where like hip hop originated.
Yeah. And this is a time where 50 was still out too. Like 50's
you know what I'm saying?
out.
Like imagine how that feels. You got G Unit. You're the one.
Yeah.
Holding the crown at that point.
And the music, I'm not gonna lie, the beats were sick too, man. I love like Dipset, like
amazing
gangster music, all that. It was great.
Amazing.
And you know what's crazy too? Their style was something that people emulated. Like, they were doing things no one else was doing. Like people were trying
I
to
mean,
dress
Lil
like
Wayne,
Kanye and Jay-Z, but there were people like from the hood that dressed like Dipset.
exactly.
You know, they had the
And then
bandanas on the
Lil
shoes.
Wayne jumped on the wave,
Yeah. Lil Wayne did, yeah.
and then he's the one that took off.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when him and Juelz were pretty much coming up together,
Yeah.
like Lil Wayne already had started at an early
Mhm.
age with the Hot Boys and all that stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
But when he finally started coming on like his own,
Yeah.
him and Juelz was the perfect match. It was like, yo, one from the South, one from New York.
Yeah.
Perfect mesh because when they worked together, it sounded good. It made sense.
Yeah.
And then Lil Wayne took it serious, and Juelz didn't, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the biggest fall off because you could always go with the one hit wonders and
No, but
people
like
that-
if you think about one hit wonders, I'm not even caring about that. I'm talking about
you're talking
someone
about
that
trajectory type.
Bro,
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
like you come out of Dipset, then you do your own album. It was a double album. Like no one does their first album a double album. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think
And
it was
hits.
yeah, there were hits, but I don't think it was a classic like the way 50's first album was. Like
No, 50's first two. There's no way.
I think, man, when you think about like first albums, like 50 did something special. Like
Yeah. There's no skips.
it's hard. It's hard to not like I put him, I put DMX's first album. A lot of people put Illmatic, mean like there's no features.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg is big too, and for their first album, like to just be hits. Some people would say Jay-Z's first album. I didn't like Jay-Z's first album, so you know, it's just
I think it was more the Blueprint stuff that for me was
That blew up?
Jay-Z's, like
yeah,
Yeah.
I thought so too. I thought the Blueprint 1 was big, but I liked Blueprint 2, which was a double album too.
man,
Yeah.
double albums used to be the thing for real, right?
Yeah.
They don't
Kanye
do
never
that no
did
more
one
either.
Yeah, Biggie was one of them that did the double album Life After Death, which was a great album as well. You know, things like that. Big Pun was supposed to do a double album with his second album, but obviously he passed away. I think if Big Pun wouldn't have died, you know, think about Biggie, like guys that got taken away very young.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
could have had like, you know, they could have had something. Pac just had so many
100%.
records, bro. Like, you know, once he passed, he still had like 10 albums come out after he passed. So
Right.
when I'm thinking
That's
like
true.
someone that was there, for me, I think it has to be Juelz. I love Joe Budden. I think Joe, like, he probably had like this riff with Def Jam once Jay-Z was running things, and he mentioned that too. Like his second album, which was Padded Room, it wasn't great. It was rushed. It was
right.
more of his mixtapes, the Moon Music shit that was really good, and it was just bars. Like
That mixtape era, man.
Yeah.
Ooh. Joe
Joey's
Budden's
great.
mixtape. I mean,
Yeah.
even the whole Slaughterhouse. I feel like they all had a
Slaughterhouse
shot,
too. Yeah,
and they,
yeah.
I feel like they all had a good shot, especially somebody like Royce the 5'9", who to
I
me
love
is super
Royce too.
talented.
Yeah.
And he had the super cosign from
From
Eminem because they're both from Detroit.
Yeah.